Tonight on CTV News.
That clean air mass is allowing for fire behavior to pick up.
BC's wildfire season heats up. Highways closed and the entire village of Clinton evacuated. Also tonight.
It's almost like they're looking for prey. So they find someone that's walking alone, that's elderly.
They're crimes that take advantage of our most vulnerable, and they've recently doubled. The suspects that target seniors who police are looking for. And
he didn't see we were there, so he popped the wheelie, started weaving in traffic. That was a poor decision.
Instant karma. A motorcyclist pulls a risky stunt right in front of a police officer.
This is CTV News with Nafisa Kareem.
Good evening and thank you for joining us. The weather may be cooling down, but BC's wildfire situation is heating up. Right now, there are 1,200 properties under evacuation order and another 6,400 on evacuation alert. Tonight, we hear from one evacuee who's facing this nightmare for the second time in just a few years. CTV's Kevin Chirac has more from the Fraser Canyon.
Tourists were being turned around as a pyrocumulus cloud rose in the distance, a dramatic sign of the Brunswick Creek complex of fires burning near Boston Bar, forcing hundreds from their homes and leaving many more on evacuation alert.
That clean air mass is allowing for fire behavior to pick up.
We would love some rain.
Evacuee Brian Fogelman has lived through this nightmare before. A wildfire destroyed nearly all of his family's resort business.
So that was a terrible, tragic event. But this one's also stacked on top 3 years later is just another hit to the business.
He rebuilt, but this latest fire has forced him to shut down for most of July, one of the busiest months of the year. So far, his resort has been spared from the flames as crews work to protect communities in harm's way.
In terms of structure protection personnel, we have increased resource numbers over the last few days to accommodate the increase in fire behavior within community areas.
It remains unclear how many structures have been damaged. With stronger winds expected overnight, officials say conditions could become even more challenging.
With this pattern change, it's also bringing unstable conditions. So with that comes chance of gusty winds, showers, and even isolated thunderstorms.
Meanwhile, Fogelman is thankful he and his staff are safe, but says the uncertainty is taking its toll.
Safety is our #1 priority, but it's heartbreaking.
This is as close as we could get to the fire as this stretch of Highway 1 remains closed in both directions. No timeline was given on when it could reopen. No timeline was given on when evacuation orders could be rescinded and people can return to their homes. As officials say, the situation remains volatile for the foreseeable future. Kevin Chirac, CTV News, near Spuzzum.
Meanwhile, in the southern Caribou region, the wildfire threat is escalating. Growing flames have forced the evacuation of the village of Clinton and shut down Highway 97 in the area. CTV's Dimitra Maragos reports.
Clinton area residents are fleeing as the Pear Lake fire continues to grow. Rugged terrain is making it difficult for the fire service to get the upper hand.
There's just very few places for us to deploy crews with just how thick the fuel is, and there's very little access.
As the fire lights the night sky, the fire service says gusty winds and hot, dry conditions are fueling fire behavior.
We saw an approximately 4-kilometer run yesterday under sort of the wind and the dry conditions.
With the fire threat growing, the mayor of the village of Clinton expanded evacuation orders Friday.
It's mainly due to the Pear Lake wildfire. It's coming up the valley. It's about 5 to 10 kilometers away from town.
Adding, unfortunately, the threat of fire has become all too familiar.
This is our third rodeo, so we're all pretty well prepared. We've got good, hardworking, trained staff.
The Pear Lake fire is one of 3 fires burning out of control in the Big Bar complex. The 59 Creek and French Bar Creek fires are challenging crews.
All 3 on the complex, challenging terrain on a bunch of them, and we're definitely being challenged with hot and dry conditions on all 3.
More than 140 firefighters and 15 helicopters are working across the complex, but crews say any increase in wind could quickly change fire behavior.
The big thing that we're watching right now, to sort of any increase in wind is going to increase fire behavior on all our fires.
Environment Canada says a shift in the weather could bring cooler temperatures, but also an unsettled pattern of winds, light showers, and possible thunderstorms.
But what it will bring in its wake is an unsettled weather pattern. And that can bring afternoon winds, that can bring light showers, and even thunderstorms to the area.
Back in Clinton, the mayor says his top priority is keeping people safe.
I guess that's the important part, is to stay calm and to stay informed.
Demetra Marigo, CTV News, Vancouver.
Earlier this week, we brought you the heartbreaking story of a wildfire evacuee who had to watch through her doorbell camera feed as a raging wildfire approached her farmhouse near Boston Bar. Yesterday, she returned to find plenty of destroyed buildings, but her home still standing. CTV's Shannon Patterson has the story.
This was our stalls here. It's gone.
On Thursday, Tammy Del Pedato returned to her 100-acre farm near Boston Bar to survey the damage after a wildfire came within meters of destroying her home and killing her livestock.
All the sheds that were built are gone. They're just like cinder on the ground. Tin roofs are just laying burnt everywhere.
Del Pedato was allowed back on her property to bring feed to her animals. She was relieved to be reunited with her sheepdog Simba, who bolted as she and her husband evacuated on Tuesday.
He ran up to me like, "Mom!" You know, he was so happy, and I was glad to see he was okay. Trees are going up on, in the ravine.
The couple had watched the fire approach their property on a live feed from their doorbell camera. They saw outbuildings burn, but their beloved farmhouse was spared, thanks in part to sprinklers that had been set up by a structure damage prevention crew.
They lay hoses, they have pumps, they hooked up to creeks and ponds and had, rubber ponds everywhere, and, just made sure that, should the fire come that way, that they were prepared for it.
And you think that likely saved your home?
Yes, I do.
Del Pedato's home is damaged. Heat from the fire melted the siding, and many of the other structures her husband built by hand were destroyed.
Those are, buildings that were a lot of work out of my husband's hands. We'll be reeling from that a bit, a lot of equipment loss.
The reality that this region is prone to wildfire has the couple wondering if it's safe to retire here as they planned.
It's hard to, say right now, no, we're done. It's too soon. Yes, the emotions are definitely, reeling, but it's just going to take time to process.
And you love that property?
Oh, yes. Yeah, we absolutely love it. That's what I was trying to tell my husband. It's a once-in-a-lifetime event.
You hope?
I hope.
Shannon Patterson, CTV News, Burnaby.
Wildfire has also forced people from their homes south of Williams Lake. CTV's Lauren Pullen is following this in the Breaking News Center. Lauren, this fire in the Caribou started last night and has grown quickly.
Nafisa, the Felker fire has more than doubled in size since just this morning. The cause is still under investigation, but the regional district confirms more than 100 parcels of land, including 25 homes, are under evacuation, with another 250 homes on evacuation alert. The city of Williams Lake has activated an emergency operations center, but some in the area are getting out even before they've been ordered to.
I ran into 4 or 5 people today, even on our street, that were packing up and just leaving because of the concern of what's taking place right now. So it's concerning, and people feel it. It heightens a significant, I think, awareness to them, and it scares people.
Temperatures in that area, Nafisa, hit the mid-30s yesterday. It was cooler today and is expected to remain below seasonal throughout the weekend. But the BC Wildfire Service is sending backup to the Caribou Fire region, where this fire is burning, and the Kamloops Fire Center due to a surge in blazes that we have seen in those spots of the province. 2 rapid response task forces are being sent to those areas to help protect homes and vital infrastructure.
Thanks, Lauren. All right, Caroline joins us now. A lot of people are watching the weather over the next few days, so what can we expect?
Well, I think we've been talking about it. A little case of good news and bad news. The good news, cooler temperatures and some showers. The bad, the wind and risk of thunderstorms and, of course, not enough rain. So here's a look at the warnings. The yellow warning for air quality is throughout much of the province. The orange, which is a little more significant than the yellow, is around the Kamloops and Lillooet area. You see the red off to the right. That's a heat warning in Alberta. We're going to focus on British Columbia, and it is the air quality. And this is expected to last for the next 48 hours. But again, it's hard to really determine the length of this warning because of the wildfires. Meanwhile, as we look toward Metro Vancouver, some clouds will enter into the picture tonight, and tomorrow will be mainly cloudy skies with a chance of showers. But again, Nafisa, not enough rain in the interior to make any sort of significant difference there. So we're just hoping for more.
All right. Thank you, Caroline. Still ahead, it was meant to unite two countries, but has instead caused political division. Canada celebrates the opening of the Gordie Howe Bridge without the United States. That's later on CTV News at 6. A deal has been reached to end the longest nurses' strike in BC's history. In a statement today, the nurses' union says it has accepted settlement recommendations from special mediators who were appointed July 10th. The appointment came 8 days after nurses began province-wide job action driven by chronic staffing shortages and escalating workplace violence. The non-binding recommendations bring an end to the strike as of midnight. Members will review those recommendations over the coming days. Vancouver police are asking members of the public, particularly the Chinese-speaking community, to talk to their elderly relatives about a scam that has been pulled off successfully more than a dozen times so far this year. As CTV's Ben Milger reports, the suspects use deep-seated cultural fear to manipulate their victims out of cash and valuables.
Vancouver police say an organized ring of international criminals targeting predominantly elderly Asian women has made off with hundreds of thousands of dollars in cash, jewelry, and other valuables so far this year. Police shared this video from June 24th showing a suspect in a hat speaking to one of the alleged victims. They say the man following behind is also a suspect in the scam, which netted $23,000 cash and some jewelry.
It's almost like they're looking for prey. So they find someone that's walking alone, that's elderly, that's Chinese, and they go up to them and just do a cold approach.
Police accuse the scammers of convincing the victims that a terrible misfortune or curse will befall them if they don't have their valuables blessed. The suspects then allegedly discreetly swap the cash and valuables in the bag for worthless items and vanish before the victim realizes what happened. VPD believe the same group travels to other countries with large Chinese immigrant populations to carry out the same scam.
We are working with international law enforcement agencies. I can't get into specific countries, unfortunately, because I don't want to compromise the investigation.
Officers will be sharing these flyers in English and Chinese with the targeted communities. Police believe there are more victims who have not yet come forward. They are urging them or their relatives to get in touch with investigators because the information they have may help them crack the case. Ben Milger, CTV News, Vancouver.
Work to demolish Tumbler Ridge Secondary School, the scene of one of Canada's deadliest mass shootings, has begun. The Peace River South School District says the work being done will respect the significance of the site and minimize disruption to students, families, and the broader Tumbler Ridge community. Work will continue over the summer, and the school should be gone by the fall. Students will move into a modular complex for the upcoming school year. Planning for the new Tumbler Ridge Secondary will begin in the coming weeks. A special plaque was unveiled in Stanley Park today honoring Japanese-Canadian veterans and their role in securing voting rights in BC in 1931.
Providing the right to vote to Japanese-Canadian First World War veterans, only to the veterans. They were not, the rest of the community and the other members, their wives, their families, were not given the right to vote. Only the veterans. In recognition of the incredible sacrifice that they made during the First World War.
The veterans became the first Asian Canadians granted voting rights in BC, helping pave the way for full voting rights in 1949. The plaque was created 10 years ago, but remained in storage due to logistical hurdles and pandemic delays. None of the 222 veterans lived to see it installed, though some of their children attended today's ceremony at the Japanese-Canadian War Memorial. After the break, the motorcycle rider with a learner's permit who pulled a risky stunt right in front of a police officer. Plus,
just stay there.
The Good Samaritans who rushed to help after a shocking seaplane crash in Washington state. What crews are saying about the joint rescue involving teams from both the U.S. and Canada. When CTV News continues, stay with us. That wheelie came with a hefty price tag. A 20-year-old Richmond man who had a learner's license was clocked speeding 146 kilometers an hour in an 80 zone on the Sea to Sky Highway near Furry Creek last Saturday. He then weaves in and out of traffic, all in front of a police officer.
That was a poor decision. When we deal with collisions, when we deal with fatalities, there is almost always speed involved. There is almost always some level of poor decision making that leads to death and serious injuries. Please, people, be a little more responsible on this highway. You don't need to speed and you don't need to stunt to enjoy that highway.
The motorcycle was missing legally required mirrors, so the rider didn't know an officer was right behind him. Police say he had just finished serving a previous driving prohibition. Now he's facing another 6-month driving ban, more than $850 in fines, a 7-day impound, and higher insurance rates. A video showing 2 men using e-scooters to transport a couch has gone viral. But it's how a pair of Vancouver police officers responded that's drawing some criticism. As CTV's Isabella Zavarisi reports, it comes as e-scooter injuries are on the rise.
You're probably wondering, what's going on here? The stunt was pulled off a few weeks ago by a group called the Lime Scoot Boys.
It was one of the best moments of my lime scooting career.
The video has racked up tens of thousands of views.
Shout out to my couch guy. I forget his name, but he's really cool.
Just 2 lime scooters and a Facebook Marketplace couch. Oh yeah, that's awesome. Thank you too.
But it's the words of encouragement from these Vancouver police officers that's drawing criticism.
I thought it was absolutely foolish. It's dangerous.
This former police chief thinks the VPD should have intervened.
My sense is that was inappropriate, that he should have got out of the car, had a conversation with these individuals, and...
The VPD says the officers used their discretion.
Discretion is meant there to be able to have the police officer help someone without being black and white about it, without being punitive on the streets. In this case, I think that's what happened.
When asked whether officers would do the same if this had happened in other parts of the city, like the downtown east side.
Those are fair comments, and I know we get it, and that comes with our profession. I can honestly tell you, we try to train bias out.
What we're doing was just having a bit of fun, not endangering anyone, and to those people who say we should get fined and stuff, maybe go try a lime couch and live a little.
Under the Motor Vehicle Act, the joyride was illegal. Hughes acknowledges he wasn't wearing a helmet.
Yes, that's a big issue because I believe a woman recently passed away on a lime scooter, and that's a tragedy.
E-scooter safety has become a priority for both law enforcement and doctors.
We've seen children requiring their airway protected, kids that required surgery.
Some municipalities like Burnaby even banning them on certain roads.
Hey guys, we're here for the Scientology.
Hughes says he's aware of the risks, and while he may have dodged a ticket, he may not be so lucky next time. Isabella Zavarisi, CTV News, Vancouver.
With a potential strike looming, WestJet is allowing some passengers to rebook their flights at no charge. The airline says passengers can make a one-time change or cancellation without a fee on flights scheduled between July 30th and August 4th. Last week, WestJet flight attendants voted in favor of a strike and could legally walk off the job on August 2nd if the airline and union don't come to an agreement. Now to a shocking seaplane crash in Washington State's San Juan Island, just east of Victoria. All 11 people on board are accounted for after a rescue operation involving teams from both Canada and the U.S. ABC's Trevor Ault has more.
Dramatic new video of the terrifying moment that tourist float plane crashed along Washington State's coast near Seattle. The plane skimming low over the water before heading straight into the rocky shoreline. That smoking de Havilland Otter seaplane disabled on the rocks.
Just stay there!
Its nose in the air as passengers race to escape the cabin, climbing to safety as Good Samaritans rush in to help.
Oh my gosh!
then flames erupting from the aircraft's engine, fire quickly swallowing the plane.
Most likely what happened was the tanks were breached as the airplane augered in, and what you saw was an ignition point.
The Coast Guard and local emergency responders racing to the scene. Authorities say the 10 passengers on board and the pilot all survived, but several were hurt, including one person now in critical condition. Officials say that Kenmore Air flight took off at 4:30 p.m. from Lake Union Thursday for a scenic flight tour bound for Roche Harbor on San Juan Island. It crashed at 5:15 p.m. Investigators are now working to determine what forced the pilot to attempt an emergency landing in Shallow Bay on Susha Island. Kenmore Air CEO says in a statement, "We are grateful that everyone aboard has been accounted for, and our immediate focus is ensuring our passengers and pilot receive the care and support they need," and say they are fully cooperating with the investigating authorities.
The fact that all 11 people got out and the fire indicates not only that there were a lot of boaters around who immediately jumped in to help, but also the resilience of this type of airplane.
Now, officials say some of those passengers suffered lacerations, head injuries, and even broken bones. But just incredible that all 11 people on board were able to at least initially survive that impact from that rough landing. Trevor Ault, ABC News, Los Angeles.
After the break, another day, another tariff.
This is about leverage rather than about law.
Why Canada and dozens of other countries are now facing another U.S. levy, now over claims of forced labor. The Trump administration is determined to continue its tariff agenda, imposing a new global tariff designed to take the place of a temporary 10% levy that expired today. The replacement tariffs will apply to goods from Canada, the European Union, and nearly 60 other countries. CTV's Judy Trin has the latest.
Come with me. The Prime Minister in Newfoundland promoting domestic tourism as the U.S. unleashes new tariffs on 60 countries.
Even if you're a country that probably doesn't have forced labor yourself, if you're allowing the import of goods made with forced labor, that makes it harder for my goods to compete because we're following labor rules in the U.S.
The Section 301 or forced labor tariffs of 10% replaces the previous global tariffs struck down by the Supreme Court.
I thought the decision by the Supreme Court was not a good one, but we have many forms of tariffs.
The forced labor tariff will impact Canadian goods not covered under CUSMA. The federal government says it's unjustified.
There is no daylight between us and the U.S. On our resolve to end forced labor. And we have actually active legislation on the House of Commons floor to take the next steps on that. We were not surprised.
This is about leverage rather than about law.
The majority of Canadian exports will not be impacted by the 301 tariffs, but this professor of international law says smaller businesses will feel more pain.
More and more small and medium-sized Canadian businesses found that when they wanted to get certified that they would be exempt, that they weren't. Those are the people that are going to be affected yet again.
Donald Trump has threatened to levy broader and bigger 50% tariffs on Canada in August. Meanwhile, today, he once again threatened to issue new tariffs over wildfire smoke. Judy Trin, CTV News, Ottawa.
A ribbon-cutting ceremony a decade in the making was held in Windsor, Ontario today for the opening of the Gordie Howe Bridge. The bridge connecting Windsor and Detroit spans 2.5 kilometers. It cost Canadian taxpayers $6.4 billion to build and took more than 20 million hours of labor to complete. While today's ceremony was originally meant to include American officials, Canada disinvited them amid the renewed tariff dispute.
And President Trump has threatened new tariffs just this month. But Team Canada has never been more united.
Cross-border tensions aside, the ceremony was focused on the bridge's namesake, one of Canada's greatest sporting exports to the U.S. More than 30 members of the Howe family attended today's ceremony, which included a game of road hockey. It's finally scheduled to open to cross-border vehicle traffic on Monday. Now to the wildfires raging in northern Ontario and beyond. There are still 177 active blazes in Ontario. 32 are out of control, but no new fires were reported today. The flames and smoke have forced more than 1,800 people from their homes. Indigenous communities have been impacted the most. All but one of the 13 communities evacuated are First Nations. Some leaders have called for a public inquiry into the province's wildfire response, but the Premier says his government did everything it could. Early estimates suggest this is the most devastating wildfire season on record in Ontario. In Europe, nearly 130,000 people have been displaced as wildfires burn out of control in southwestern France and central Spain. Hundreds of firefighters have been deployed and additional crews were sent out today. In Spain, the government has declared a national emergency for wildfires for the first time. Blazes west of Madrid and in a nearby province prompted about 20,000 people to evacuate. The firefighting effort is being hampered by a heat wave, with temperatures expected to reach nearly 40 degrees in some areas. After the break, Caroline will be back with a full forecast and some much-needed rain. Plus, a pod of orcas makes a splash. We'll show you where these playful whales put on a show with a baby in tow.
Time now for tonight's Skywatch. The sea meets the slightly hazy blue sky on another gorgeous day on the waters off Crescent Beach in South Surrey.
CTV Skywatch is brought to you by Kermac Collision and Autoglass, the name you'll remember when it matters. Kermac cares for kids.
Some hikers are in hot water after a run-in with a grizzly bear in Banff National Park. You can see the couple with their dogs being followed by the grizzly while walking through the park. The issue is the dog is off leash while walking on the trail, and that is strictly prohibited. Parks Canada says wardens have identified the individuals involved and laid charges for having an off-leash dog in the national park. Officials with the National Park Service say having an off-leash pet in the park can put pets, humans and wildlife at risk. Speaking of wildlife, another incredible whale encounter has been caught on camera, this time in Porto Cove, where some lucky onlookers were treated to a spectacular show. A pod of orcas was captured swimming through the area just after 7 o'clock yesterday evening. Video posted to social media shows a couple of the whales breaching out of the water, much to the delight of spectators. There was even a young calf spotted with the pod. We are so lucky to live here and get to be able to see that.
Seriously, that is just gorgeous. And I, too, was oohing and aahing with every jump of that orca. Mm-hmm. Oh. Love it. All right, let's take a look at the forecast. And we are lucky to live in Vancouver on a night like this. Look at the current temperature. It is 25 degrees, but with the humidex, it feels closer to 30. It is bright. It is sunny. The winds are calm. However, the clouds will be entering into the picture. Let's take a look at the storm tracker. We've got a low pressure system that's moving in. That's going to bring some unsettled conditions along the coast and in towards the upper part of the island and in towards Vancouver tomorrow. The central and southern interior will see some rain, but again, as we've been saying all night, not enough to really make an impact in the wildfire fight, unfortunately. So the next 24 hours for the city of Vancouver looks like this. The clouds will be entering into the picture, so get the last little bit of sunshine out now because you will not be seeing it for a few days. Chance of showers off and on throughout the day tomorrow, mainly cloudy skies and much cooler temperatures right around 21 degrees. Let's take a look at the forecast for tomorrow. Port Hardy, you're going to see some showers and 16 degrees. Campbell River, Comox, mainly cloudy skies with some showers and highs of 22. Going to see that wet weather in Tofino and Port Alberni, high of just 15 degrees in Tofino. As for the rest of the island, you're going to see mainly cloudy skies and highs between 20 and 22 degrees. Mainly cloudy and some showers on the Sunshine Coast and sea to sky, highs between 20 and 22 degrees. And that will carry on into the lower mainland. Mix of sun and cloud and some showers off and on throughout the day. A little bit more as you head towards Abbotsford later on in the day, but highs hovering right around 21 to 22 degrees. And as we take a look at the next 7 days, yes, look at Sunday. Sunday is the day where we're going to see some significant rainfall in Metro Vancouver. We do need that. More showers on Monday, but they do start to taper off. Tuesday, we'll see some morning showers and then breaks. Then Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, nothing but sunshine. sunshine, so don't you dare put away that umbrella yet, Nafisa. You're going to be needing it for the weekend.
We need a good soaking, so I'm looking forward to that.
Yeah, getting it Sunday.
Thank you, Caroline. Well, still ahead, costly mistake.
For something like that to happen and to impact us negatively, you know, it's really disheartening.
How a Calgary Donair shop says it's suffering after the local health authority used the wrong name on a closure order. As CTV News at 6 continues. Taking a look at today's markets, the Canadian dollar is back to just under 71 cents U.S. Oil was down nearly $3, closing around $89 U.S. a barrel. Gold saw a $20 bump. On the stock market, the TSX gained 176 points. The Dow Jones gained 235 points on the day. Fortis BC is moving forward with a major expansion of its Tilbury LNG facility in Delta after the province helped fast-track the more than $2 billion project.
We'll do this by exempting the project from a certificate.
He says the exemption will also give the Musqueam Indian Band the chance to become an equity partner in the project. The expansion of Tilbury's LNG facility will increase its storage capacity, which the province says will help meet growing demands for LNG marine fueling services. Construction could start as early as mid-2027 and is expected to take 4 years. The province expects the project will generate over $800 million for the economy while creating more than 1,000 jobs annually. The European Union is accusing TikTok of failing to adequately protect children's privacy rights. European officials shared the allegation following an investigation under the bloc's Digital Services Act. It found that it was much easier for users aged 13 to 15 to keep their accounts private from adults compared to accounts registered to 16 and 17-year-olds. As a result, the probe concluded children have been left exposed to cyberbullying, unwanted contact, and predatory behavior. TikTok said it would review the findings and engage constructively. The EU could issue a fine depending on how that process plays out. A Calgary Donair shop owner says his business has taken a hit after it was mistakenly named in a health closure notice for a different restaurant. Alberta Health Services has apologized, saying the mix-up happened after an ownership change, but the owner says the damage has already been done. CTV's Tyler Barrow reports.
A notice of closure by Alberta Health Services was served to Hosan Donair Grill and Kebab in Bridlewood in recent weeks, alleging several violations regarding live mice and rodent damage. However, in the subject line of the notice, it lists Donair Grill. That is this establishment in Mahogany, some 17 kilometers away.
For something like that to happen and to impact us negatively, you know, it's really disheartening.
Bonzi Haymore says after the notice began circulating online, customers vanished even though his shop wasn't the problem and never closed. Haymore previously owned the affected store in Bridlewood, but he sold it last August under Donair Grill, but that establishment did not change its name until last month. According to Alberta Health Services, business operators have a responsibility to notify of ownership or business name changes, adding it issued to the correct business location and the correct owner and was based on the findings in the inspection. AHS didn't acknowledge the name confusion to CTV, but in emails with Haymore said, "We sincerely apologize for any impact this error may have had on your business."
A dip in our walk-in traffic on our online sales. So I mean, like it's definitely in the thousands.
AHS says once it became aware of the name change, it updated its records and removed the original notice. Haymore wants a public retraction, which was denied.
The health inspector at the time said, well, she walks into a bunch of businesses, doesn't really look up to see the name, and is just kind of walking into the business. And I can understand that. But at the same time, they got to do their due diligence.
One public relations expert says an incident like this can be quite damaging. He says a public retraction would be helpful, but it should focus on getting ahead of the issue.
Starts getting really active on social, and your story here is probably going to help a little bit just with the name differentiation. Prudent to have that company change the name because you don't know how if their integrity is the same.
CTV News visited the establishment served with the notice of closure, but staff declined to comment. The business appeared open. Tyler Barrow, CTV News, Calgary.
Well, we made it to the weekend. We've got your Friday feel-goods coming up because everyone needs a break. Plus,
I just happened to be at the right spot.
He just happened to be in the right spot. The friendly neighborhood Spider-Man doing a good deed while stopped at a red light. And later, rescue caught on camera. Adam finds out what happened after a BC couple discovered an owl stuck in their fence. That's coming up on the Sawatsky sign-off. Right now, here's Carrie with a preview of Your Morning Vancouver.
Monday on Your Morning Vancouver, we'll update the weekend wildfire situation in BC. Will cooler temperatures help? Also, it's wedding season. Is it harder for guests to say I do? From the gift to the travel to the party dress, a closer look at the price of RSVPing yes. And the star of the hit comedy series Late Bloomer joins us in studio. How Jasmeet Rana is handling his fame and how he's working with other South Asian creatives to find success in the industry. We're back after the weekend. We'll see you Monday morning.
I say to you, sir, Merry Humbug! Merry Christmas! Humbug! And a Happy New Year! Humbug!
To Uncle Scrooge. I think he said humbug. Johnny Depp is returning to the big screen, taking on the classic role of Ebenezer Scrooge in a reimagined version of A Christmas Carol. He will star alongside Rupert Grint, Daisy Ridley, Ian McKellen, and several other big names in Ebenezer. The trailer says it features a name you know and a story you don't. It will hit theaters on November 13th. After the success of Weapons at the box office last year, the official trailer is out for the next horror film from writer and director Zach Kreger.
Hey, you got time for another run?
No, I'm wrapped up for the...
It's outside the zone, so it pays double.
I could do that.
Sony is rebooting the Resident Evil franchise based on the popular video game series. The movie follows the story of a medical courier who finds himself in the middle of a zombie virus outbreak. Kreger says the events take place alongside stories that players will be familiar with. The new Resident Evil hits theaters September 18th. Fans of Space Jam have something to look forward to next month. A new live-action movie with a Looney Tunes twist is coming to the big screen, and the final trailer just dropped.
That is for you. All I gotta do is walk out the store right now. Please don't. This is not funny. I thought cartoons are supposed to be funny.
Coyote versus Acme tells the story of cartoon underdogs taking on a real-world megacorporation. In this goofy David and Goliath legal battle, Will Forte plays Wile E. Coyote's lawyer, while John Cena represents the Acme Corporation. Of course, you can expect appearances from Looney Tunes favorites. Warner Brothers originally shelved this movie, but thanks to indie distributor Ketchup Entertainment, it will hit theaters August 28th. I'm expecting a lot of anvils to fall. LeBron James has made another decision about his future, and this time he's joining the Philadelphia 76ers. He announced the move today on social media. James made the move official and signed his first ever trading card for the 76ers. This will be the basketball legend's 24th season in the NBA. The star says the move to Philly is not motivated by money or family, but rather to continue competing for another championship. A friendly neighborhood Spider-Man proved to be a real-life Good Samaritan when a man in a wheelchair needed help crossing a busy street. A traffic camera capturing the moment, the superhero swings into action, hopping out of a vehicle to help the man safely make it across the road. The costume do-gooder was later identified as an employee at a local trampoline park.
I just happened to be at the right spot whenever that man was trying to get across the road, and I just had to jump in there and save him.
He just finished a superhero-themed event for kids when he saw the opportunity to do some more good. His act of kindness has since earned praise on, wait for it, the web.
I love that they kept the costume on for the interview after.
Well, here's the thing. He's driving in that. Mm-hmm. You're driving and you look over and you see that. What's going through your mind?
You know you're safe.
Yeah, I guess so. Well, it's time for Friday Feel Goods, a weekly roundup of unique events happening in Metro Vancouver.
Here are 3 things worth checking out.
The annual Vancouver Chinatown Festival is back for its 24th year. Saturday and Sunday from noon to 6 p.m., Kiefer and Columbia streets will be bustling with a variety of cultural activities, entertainment, and cuisine. The event is family-friendly, free to attend, with a full slate of main stage performances and children's theater area. That's a great event.
Got it all.
Yeah, I'm sure the food is going to be delicious too.
Oh, my mouth was watering as you were speaking, yes.
Speaking of food,
yes, I love talking about this. Seafood fans get excited. The 4th annual False Creek Crab Fest will be a tasty afternoon featuring a mouth-watering crab boil cooked up by some of Vancouver's best seafood chefs. Yes. Each ticket will give you a chance to get your claws on a delicious plate of food, free drink, and access to live music, entertainment, and more in the heart of False Creek.
Bring an appetite. Claws. Can you bring a Tupperware? Fill it up?
Giant
Just asking
purse.
for a friend.
Oh, dear.
2nd and 8 for Bryce. Ton of time. Down the field. 1-on-1. And it's caught. Oh, Hatcher.
Well, from crabs to lions, for the first time in 2026, CFL football returns to BC Place. The Lions will try to capture a much-needed home win Saturday when they host the Argos, and it will be a whole day of entertainment before the game. Robson Street will become the scene for a massive family-friendly pool party just before kickoff, at 4 p.m. I think it starts at about noon. So
I'm wondering about this pool.
Yeah.
I have questions. Curious,
so do we.
though.
Yeah, more questions than answers, but are we in? Absolutely,
Sounds
yes.
fun, yeah. Well, if you have any events you would like us to highlight, you can email your tips to ctvfeelgoods@ctv.ca. Now, just before we get to the Sawatsky sign-off, Lauren, you've got an update on the ever-changing wildfire situation.
Well, Nafis, so we do have some breaking news. The province has just issued a BC emergency alert for the Clinton area as new expanded evacuation orders have been issued for the region. There are 2 out-of-control fires in that area now being called the Big Bar Complex. The province is urging anyone under an evacuation order to leave right now, saying the wildfire is posing a significant risk to life. We'll have the latest on what unfolds in this wildfire fight ahead at 11:30.
All right, thank you, Lauren. Well, finally, Adam finds out what happened after a BC couple discovered a wild animal stuck hanging upside down on their fence. What followed was a race to save a majestic visitor on tonight's Sawatsky sign-off.
When she first noticed something stuck on her fence, Kaylin Lindsay thought a neighbor's chicken had escaped, until she looked closer.
I couldn't believe what I was seeing at first. I was pretty shocked.
After Kaylin raced inside to wake up her fiancé, Maxwell Howe thought he was still dreaming.
My hair was like kind of all in a rat's nest. I was still in my pajamas, and I came outside, and I was like, whoa, oh my God.
It was a great horned owl, likely stuck upside down after flying fast to catch a squirrel.
Somehow, like a freak accident of both of her legs getting caught in between the fence posts, and then she just kind of hung there and was stuck.
Maxwell rushed to rescue the owl, and after freeing her from the fence, placed the bird safely on the ground.
I felt heartbreak for her. It's not every day that an owl gets stuck in a fence.
While they waited for the wildlife hospital to open, the owl didn't move, except for what looked like shivers, so Maxwell gently cradled the bird in a towel.
Try to give it some body heat, because if it had been there for several hours, the poor thing was probably pretty cold.
Maxwell and Kaylin wondered if this was the same bird they'd seen around their neighborhood, who they'd named Floki, after the Marvel character who also had horns on his head, who they'd only observed as a predator before.
Its instinct is to like hunt squirrels and rabbits and things like that, but it's also, quite cute. A really heartfelt moment of getting to get so close to her.
It was not unlike other experiences the couple had had with wild animals. Maxwell's an Emmy Award-winning nature filmmaker, and Kaylin captures the behind-the-scenes footage.
But we never really have the chance to step in and rescue them, so it was a really great experience.
Especially after they placed Floki in a box to keep her feeling safe during the drive to the animal hospital, where staff told them that after the bird was rehabilitated, she'd be released back into the forest behind their home.
We share this land with feathered and the furry critters around us, so just look out for them when they're in need is really important.
Adam Sawatsky, CTV News.
The Sawatsky Sign-Off, brought to you by 1-800-GOT-JUNK. They make junk disappear. All you have to do is point.
I like how they thought it was a chicken at first. Absolutely not a chicken.
Yeah.
What an incredible thing.
A great full circle moment. Gets released back into the same area.
Oh, love that. Happy ending. All right, let's take a look at the scenic snapshot.
Oh, wow.
Speaking of a happy ending, look at that. Some lightning in the interior. Thank you, Greg, for setting this in. If you'd like your photo featured, email us scenicsnapshot@ctv.ca.
All right, stay safe, everyone out there. We've got a hot few days coming up. That is all for us tonight, but be sure to tune in at 11:30. Lauren will have all the wildfire updates you're looking for.